GojiFans, GojiFan93 here. Welcome to the next part of the King Kong-a-thon. In this part we will be reviewing King Kong Escapes, which is from Toho. So this movie came out after King Kong vs. Godzilla, and Toho, I guess, still had the rights to make another King Kong movie. They were actually going to make two, but Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster was going to be that other King Kong movie, but they decided to use Godzilla to make more money. So we only got one King Kong movie from Toho, and this is what we got. Now, before I start this review, you guys are probably going to hate me, but I did not really care for this movie at all. I'm just going to start the review off just by saying that. So you can already hit the dislike button or whatever. I really don't care. This is just my opinion. If you guys like the movie, that's perfectly fine. It's just me, my personal preference on the movie. And let me explain why I didn't really like this movie as much. Okay, so first off, the story, I mean, okay, as best as I can sum it up, I mean, honestly, guys, I kind of fell asleep like halfway through the movie. I was so bored, I was so tired that it was literally hard to keep my eyes open, and I kind of found myself looking at my phone and just kind of, you know, doing things on that rather than watching the movie. The movie was more like background noise, which is never really a good thing. If you're wanting to make a movie that's, that you want to keep people's attention, at least my attention. Maybe I just suck at watching movies, I don't know, but, so apparently there's, this is gonna suck, I'm gonna ruin the movie for you guys. I don't know if I should really talk about the story, but basically what I got from it, there was some bad guys, they wanted to get this thing called Element X or something like that. They basically built a gigantic robotic King Kong, and the bad guy was like, oh, this is good, this thing is better than the original King Kong. Oh yeah, this thing will do anything the original King Kong can do, but better. Well, the thing is that later on in the movie, when he actually uses King Kong, the actual original King Kong, then he starts saying, oh yeah, this thing was better than my Kong, and I'm sitting there going like, what? Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, they make this robot Kong, Mecha whatever. I'm just gonna call him Mecha Kong. Goes over and he's like throwing bombs into he's digging basically. But it's just this whole sequence of him just throwing bombs in there, and it's just like, I was so bored. I'm like, get to the point. I mean, that's the problem with this movie. It's so slow. There's so many parts in this movie that could be cut up and just get on with it. Like, this movie it wants to explain everything to you in such detail that you're just like, oh my god, I get it. Just move on with it. Anyways, he gets to the thing, and I guess the Element X thing, the radiation or something, blows the guy's circuits. So the Mecha Kong just falls over, and the guy's like, oh no, what's going on? So then they rebuild him, and that's why they go over to find the original King Kong to get him to dig, because they say that he'll deal with the radiation or something like that. I don't know. And if maybe King Kong gets too much radiation, then he'll turn into Kongzilla. I don't know. That's just, I'm joking there. But that would be actually a cool plot twist. Anyways, so, but then on the other hand, our heroes, protagonists, which I cannot remember their names because I didn't care about the characters, except for we did have Akira Takarada make an appearance as one of the characters, but once again, I don't remember his character's name or his role because the character he played as had little to no dialogue and was just kind of there on the side. So anyways, but it was cool to see Akira Takarada in there anyways. They go to this island. I don't even think they named it. I don't even remember if they did. And the girl there, oh my god, guys, the female protagonist in this, or the female character in this, she is the most annoying. Oh my god, every time she was on screen, I was just like, I want you to die, just go away. Just the way her voice is, and the way, well, I was watching the English dub, okay, so maybe that's why this movie wasn't as entertaining, but my god, I mean, her voice was just like, I'm bleeding, it's like, stop talking. King Kong shows up, and she's like, ah, and then Gorosaurus shows up out of nowhere, and I think this was the first movie that Gorosaurus was introduced. So it wasn't a Godzilla movie that Gorosaurus was introduced, it was a King Kong movie. That's very interesting. Anyways, they kind of have the classic King Kong versus T-Rex kind of battle. I mean, I know that Gorosaurus is not a T-Rex, but they kind of mimic it, you know. I gotta give them some props, though, for kind of capturing what the original Kong did, where, you know, he put the girl on top of a tree while he fought the T-Rex. That was pretty cool, but the battle was alright. I mean, it wasn't really anything special. I mean, King Kong's just beating down on Gorosaurus, and oh, sorry, I gotta say this. Look what happened! Okay, anyway, sorry, I just had to put that in there, because I thought of that quote while I was watching this part, while Gorosaurus was getting pounded by King Kong. Anyway, so... Sorry, I still have my cold, so I'm still kind of working off that. Anyways, I keep on saying anyways a lot. What's wrong with me? So, yeah, King Kong beats the living shit out of Gorosaurus, rips open his jaw like he always does to every dinosaur. And then the girl... Okay, here's the thing that bugs me about the girl character in this movie, is that she... Once King Kong grabs hold of her, she freaks out for like a little bit, but then in an instant, she's automatically in love with King Kong. She's automatically like, oh, he's a peaceful beast. Oh, I'm the only one that he'll listen to. And it's just like, I mean, it took Anne in the King Kong movie, literally the whole movie, until he was on top of the Empire State Building getting shot, that Anne actually cared for the beast. This character, on the other hand, it's like instant. She's being picked up by this really terrifying creature, and she's just like, oh, you know what, he's cool. Never mind. But I mean, what are you doing? Anyway, so, oh god, I said it again. Anyway, let's stop trying to say that word. So, they end up going back, they want to try and study King Kong, and then the bad guys come over, they steal King Kong, they get him over into the caves, whatever, they try to get him to do his bidding, and they go in the caves, and the Element X thing messes with King Kong, and he gets back to his normal self. They trap King Kong there, hence the fact this movie is called King Kong Escapes, and what do you know? King Kong escapes. Oh! So yeah, he goes away, and that's it. I mean, it was at this point where I kind of forgot what I was watching, and I was just kind of like on my phone, so I kind of missed a couple plot points. But anyways, damn it, I said the word, sorry, Mecha Kong, he's like being worked on right now, and then they get to the final battle. I'm just gonna skip all the middle parts where all the characters are just talking. That's all this movie is just talking. It's so much talking. It's like, oh, it's just so much talking. I'm sorry. So yeah, they go, Mecha Kong gets out and fights King Kong. They climb up the Tokyo Tower and they're fighting. I think it's the Tokyo Tower. It looked like the Tokyo Tower. I might be wrong on that. I'm not sure. I was half asleep watching this movie. So anyways, I'm trying to stay awake right now. Okay, they go and they're fighting on top of the thing, and I don't even remember really. I mean, Mecha Kong dies, I know that, and they won. And then what's so funny is that at the end, now it's like this superhero thing where Kong is following the protagonist's car to kill the main bad guy in their boat or whatever, their battle cruiser ship. And King Kong just jumps in the water and just starts, beating on the ship and kills them all. But oh yeah, and did I mention that one of the girl antagonists that was a partner with the bad guy, she ends up like turning good at the end, and she tries to kill the bad guy, but it's like in the most awkward fight scene where they're like she's grabs one hand of his, and they're like doing this whole twist arm battle thing, and they're like, what is good? And then like he like kicks her on top of a couch or whatever, and then he grabs a gun and shoots her in the arm, and it leaves like a little blood, but then she ends up dying anyway. Spoiler alert, if you even cared, because I didn't. So, oh god. So that, I mean, I don't know. This is a bad review anyways. I didn't really care for it though. I fell asleep. It was boring. The movie's way too slow. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna hate me because it's a Toho film and it's a Showa film. So, don't be hating on Showa. But I'm sorry. I can't fight my opinions on this movie, and I fell asleep. Honestly, I find more entertainment out of Godzilla's Revenge than I did this movie, and that's really sad. The music also, I think the music was done by Akira Ifukube. But the music was, a lot of the music was already, it was like redone. It was music that we've already heard, and then it was kind of like changed, like some tempo and octaves and stuff like that. Then there was some new themes, but they didn't, I don't know, they just weren't awesome, like, you know, in Godzilla movies. But so that's really it. That's all I got. Oh, and by the way, the King Kong suit is awful. I mean, oh my god. I mean, okay, I get it that the King Kong versus Godzilla suit wasn't really that good. I'm talking about King Kong, not Godzilla. That suit was awesome. You know, he's right freaking there, if you guys could see him. But I'm talking about the King Kong suit. That suit was bad, but I mean, they could have at least reused it in this one, because the suit they used in this one, I mean, his eyes are like a cartoon. He's just like, hey. I mean, it's bad. So anyway, I mean, I'm not really going to say that this movie is terrible, but I'm also not going to say it's good, because I fell asleep. And, you know, I mean, yes, the Showa films are not my all-time favorite films, but I don't fall asleep during them. I at least can watch them. I at least can get entertained. This movie had no entertainment value for me whatsoever. And that's just it. This is like literally the only King Kong movie that I don't really care for. Also, I watched this movie I've watched for the second time now. So don't be saying like, oh, you've only watched it once, so you gotta watch it again to get the story. It's like, no, I've seen 2 times, and 2 times is enough, because I no. So that's what I got for you guys. Sorry this was a negative review, but hey, I'm being honest with you guys, and you know, that's just how I am. So thank you guys so much for watching. Post in the comments what you guys thought of this movie. I would love to read them, and that's it for me. And stay tuned for the next one. Well, we will be taking on the 70s remake of King Kong, which will be a lot better than this one. So alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay big, G fans.